Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cash Flow Connections Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Lyons, and I'm very excited for the guest that we have here today. She's the founder of Regal Capital Partners, which is an investment company that focuses on the acquisition and management of opportunistic and value add commercial real estate properties. She's also a licensed real estate agent and has been working in the industry for over 25 years. Amber Fleming, welcome to the show.
Hey Tyler, thanks for having me.
Great to have you here today. And Amber, you've had a great career in the world as being a real estate agent and still have a great career there. But it always kind of surprises me how few real estate agents actually invest in real estate. But you are a real estate investor, which of course is great. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your story about how you actually got into more of the investing side in real estate.
Yeah, so crazy. I've had my license for over 26 years, but my original background was IT and telecom.
Hmm.
And so it's kind of crazy how it came about. But, in that world, you're always waiting for the next layoff because companies just buy out companies in that industry. And so I always had this fascination with the new home construction and love seeing them be built. And so I got my real estate license back in 97 and worked for a builder. And the only downside to it, I did love it, but I was really young then. I was 27, and I just a couple years prior moved there from upstate New York, and beautiful weather. The last thing I wanted to do was be stuck in a model center on the weekend. And every weekend I was pounding the pavement in a model center while all my friends were at the beach and all that. So I decided to move on from the builder and go into general real estate, which I still work weekends, but it's my choice. So, I'm a hustler, so it's kind of like I just do it anyways, but it is what it is and it's my choice. And I think that kind of feels a little better, if that makes sense. So not long after that, after I did get into real estate, I actually just like most realtors end up doing or real estate agents, went and bought a couple rental properties. And it was great, hey, I've got these rental properties, I'm a landlord, and oh my gosh, did I get a surprise. I had a partner, I told him, I'm like, listen, you have got to do the maintenance and all the complaints. I said, I'll be the one that gets the leases, brings in the tenants. And because I just couldn't take getting the phone calls, I need this fixed, I need that fixed. And so that was my dilemma with that. And I said, I just can't deal with this. So I literally sold my properties, and, being a successful realtor, you don't necessarily have a lot of time to put into management and maintenance, especially if you're successful. You're working night and day. I don't have time to add additional things onto my plate. And, I know that other realtors can relate to that. And so I decided that, I was getting out of that. And I was so busy that I just didn't, time just has flown. And so I just hadn't gotten back into it. I considered doing the fix and flips, and even, bought but backed out because condition or whatever. But the same thing. I'm already doing so much. Where am I going to throw on my plate to work with contractors, doing fix and flips and all that? So only until a few years ago, I decided that I had seen something about the whole commercial multifamily thing. And I was like, working with other people's money. And I was like, okay, I need to hear more about this, because I had that general misconception, just like anyone else out there, and even other agents, that you had to have millions of dollars to get into these big commercial deals. And so when I went to this mastermind and I got all the training and found out that technically I don't have to use any of my money, which is great. Although I do invest in all my deals, I do want to say that. But I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I already had a lot of experience on that real estate side, of course. So I had experience in due diligence. I had experience in asset management, as well as finding deals. The one thing I didn't have the experience in was the capital raising.
Mm.
And so one of the guys from, the multifamily mastermind was like, I was like, hey, what do you think? I should promote myself as, the piece in the syndication model. And they said capital raising. And I'm like, oh, great. The one thing that I don't have experience in. So I said, in that situation, I need to hone this skill. I need to perfect it. What's my next step? I went out there, ended up seeing Hunter's book, bought it, and then of course Facebook is now pinging me with Raise Masters, the mastermind, and I gave Adam a call, talked to Adam, and the rest is history. Here I am, and now I'm raising capital and in the Raise Masters mastermind.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you've had a lot of success too, raising capital since you kind of made the shift and started looking at commercial real estate and participating as a capital raiser. And I think it was smart too that when you got into the industry, you kind of thought critically about like, okay, how am I going to participate in the space? You know what I mean? Because when you get into the multifamily space and when you get into the space of commercial real estate, there are so many different things that you need to know how to do. Like if you're to be a lead sponsor, for example, it's like you
Right.
got to know how to acquire deals, you got to know how to manage deals, you got to know how to raise capital. There's all these different things that you have to know how to do. But
Mhm.
if you want to get in the industry, you don't necessarily have to try to boil the ocean, learn all of those things at once. You were really smart and kind of niched down and said, "Hey, look, I've got experience in sales. I've had a lot of success as a realtor. I think I can raise capital." So you really kind of niched down and focused on that, which is a really smart approach. And since you started raising capital and participating in the space, I know that you've been doing it for a few years now, and I know that more recently too, you've kind of niched down your focus a little bit, and you focused a lot more recently on helping people have a similar background as you. So you've really niched
Yeah.
down on focusing on helping out real estate agents to invest in real estate.
Mhm.
Help me understand a little bit how your business has benefited since you've started to niche down a little bit more from that perspective.
Yeah, so that was the thing, honestly, everyone kept saying, you've got to niche down. And I was, scared of that. I'm like, well, I don't want people to think that's the only people I work with. But I'm seeing so much success when somebody does focus on that, that, I took that advice. And although, I am unbiased in a sense that I will help anyone, with these passive investments, but I said, I want to go and, help the people that understand me. I do what they do so I can speak their language. I can help them understand more, how it all works. And they know they're not talking to someone that's never done their business. And I've done their business. I understand their challenges. I understand, a scary market. I understand when, one day, or one month, you have a great month, and then the next two, you have nothing. And so that's something, knowing their concerns, understanding their whole process and even their thinking, but how their whole job is, because I've been there, I've done that. So I can relate to everything. And so um, I'm able to share my experiences on how it's worked well for me and explain to them how it can definitely work great for them because we share a lot of the same goals.
Yeah, most definitely. That's so powerful. And for people who are, thinking about raising capital and thinking about getting into the industry, definitely pay very close attention to that because, yeah, it can be kind of scary to niche down. You feel like, you don't want to exclude people, but by
Right.
niching down, like you can really start to build those raving fans you need to build a business. And by, understanding those people who are going to be investing with you at a very kind of primal and visceral level like that, like walking in their shoes, it's really gonna benefit you tremendously. So you're niching down, you're focusing a bit more on real estate agents, and of course, you will help with, if a doctor wants to invest with you, or if a accountant or a lawyer wants to invest with you, of course, like you're gonna take everybody who wants to invest. But in
Absolutely.
order to get in front of other real estate agents and kind of inform you about what you're doing and the benefits of investing in real estate, like what strategies are you using right now to get in front of real estate agents? How are you creating that investor flow?
So, of course, I'm all over LinkedIn. That's one of my, big, social media avenues. But one thing that I did more recently, closer to the beginning of the year, is, I have a colleague, that I've met in the past, and he's very out there with doing a lot of events for agents. It's basically, he has actually a show as well, called Contract Live, and it's for agents, about agents for agents or something like that. But anyways, I reached out to him and I said, I love what you're doing. I said, I know I'm an agent too. I'm not trying to come in and, um, steal any of your agents, but he actually does these, live shows, and he does training for agents, whether it be new construction, how to get in with builders, and all kinds of strategies, in regards to being in the real estate business for agents. So I said to him, I'm like, listen, I would love to come in and also work with you, and be able to partner with you, attend these events as a real estate investor, to also work with these agents that you're bringing in and show them and speak to them and educate them on how they can, do this investing, passive investing as well. And he was like, absolutely. So basically, I, kind of walked right into that. And, now I'm helping him and going to be sponsoring some of his shows. And, I'm working with other agents, and I love helping them because, again, they're doing what I'm doing, and it's been benefiting me so much. And so I love to help my colleagues.
Yeah, that's another really powerful strategy too. So when you do start to niche down, just really thinking critically about, who is my avatar, like who is my target audience and where do they hang out? Like where are they getting
Mhm.
trained? Where are they getting information? Can you interject yourself at trade shows or different trainings and whatnot that they might be at? And like, hey, look, I'm a fellow professional, but I've got
Mhm.
this service to offer you and I'd love to talk to you about it. So yeah, that's a really
Yeah.
good strategy there. And, obviously you and I both believe in the benefits of passive investing, but how do you typically see real estate agents investing in real estate?
Yeah, so I mean, you see the typical everyday where a lot of agents, they're buying up short single families and they're renting them out. I see that every day. Maybe they have one, maybe they have two, maybe they have five, or maybe they have more. Um, which is what I started out with before and hated it. So I'm like, oh my gosh. But I see where they see or think that that's where they have to start because they don't know about these other opportunities. And I didn't know about these other opportunities until 3 years ago. And if I'm in that business for 26 years and I didn't know about it, I knew that's why I had to target and want to work with these people that probably don't as well. So not only am I seeing people, they'll buy up the single families, but they're looking at doing the Airbnbs. And, that's a hot train right now. I hear a lot of people that want to be involved in the Airbnbs. Now, the only thing with that is there's a lot of work, management, doing the maintenance. And you're typically doing that unless you hire someone. And if you hire someone, that's money out of your pocket, you're paying them. So, because again, if you're a successful realtor, you're not necessarily going to have the time to do all those things. So, me personally, I'm looking to soon be on the beach where I'm collecting my cash flow mailbox money because I've worked my tail off for, well, more than 26 years. I did that before real estate too, but I have really worked super hard, for many, many years so that I can set myself up to be in a position. And the last few years I've been doing this and going forward, I'm really targeting putting myself in a position so that I can reap the rewards of my hard work and be able to enjoy, travel, be on the beach, but have that money coming in.
Love that. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's such a good point too. I mean, if you can dabble in single family rentals, you can dabble in Airbnbs, and some of them might be great investments. But yeah, if you're not careful and you're already a very busy agent who's already got a big business and you're hustling, you can create a bit of a headache for yourself and create a whole side job for yourself if you're not careful. So it's a really good point there. So let's maybe take that thread a little bit further. And, if you look at investing passively, why should real estates invest passively in real estate?
Well, obviously, you go to, the challenges that they have in our business, kind of like I mentioned before, you know, you may have 1 month that's great and then 2 months nothing. So with having the passive income coming in, that cash flow coming in, you don't have to necessarily worry about, hey, am I going to be able to pay my bills this month? Living, not even paycheck to paycheck like in a corporate job, but commission to commission. And, when I talk to fellow colleagues, our business is all over the place. So therefore, every year we don't know exactly how much we're going to make. I mean, you may make 100 one year and you may make, 50 the next, or, something like that. You just really never know. And it's not necessarily your fault. You can be, the busiest and hardest working person, but if the business isn't there, it's not there. So, having the potential of cash flow coming in, say quarterly, and some of them are even monthly, it helps, you know, kind of budgeting because you have that money coming in. And, with consistent money with the investments, you can actually sit back and breathe to know that you can actually pay your bills. So, that's what I like to explain to them. And I know it's, scary because the thing of it is I've been there, I've done that. They're not talking to someone that hasn't done their job. So I've had those same challenges and concerns and, you know, just like everybody else. So, I can speak their language. And I think that's what makes it easiest because any of maybe their rejections or hesitancy, I can speak to because I've had those same things and I understand them.
Totally, totally. And while I believe that pretty much any professional out there can and should benefit from passive investing and
Hmm.
cash flow, you bring up a really good point about people who are commission based, whether they're realtors, whether they're, sales professionals,
Lenders.
or yeah, people who are really counting that commission. It's such a
Hmm.
good deal to make passive investing and passive cash flow a really important part of your investing strategy. So yeah, you can kind of even out some of those downswings in the market where maybe the commissions are a little bit lighter. And when you look at the
Yeah.
multifamily space right now too, if you do want higher cash flow, a lot of value add properties right now, if you invest in them, you might average, maybe 5 to 6% cash flow during the hold period. But, I'll speak to our current offering that we have right now. We have a separate class of shares that prioritizes cash flow. You don't get the equity upside, but if you want cash
Hmm.
flow, you can invest in, the class A shares and get 10%, projected cash flow on your money. So yeah,
Awesome.
somebody who's commission based, like that could be something that'd be really powerful, just like mixing that sort of stuff into your investment strategy. And
Yeah.
and taking the thread a little bit further here too, Amber, maybe talk a little bit more about why do you think passive investing is better than active investing? I know we talked a little bit about some of the reasons why from just a pure work standpoint, like you don't want a second job. Are there any other reasons that might make passive investing a little bit better than active investing?
Absolutely. I can definitely speak to that. So obviously with active investing, I mean, you're in the thick of things. So again, you're doing the maintenance, you're doing the managing, and it's so much more stressful. And I've done it, and our jobs as real estate agents are already so stressful. So I'm personally at a point in my life that I'm trying to remove things off my plate, not add to it. And so being a passive investor makes it so that you have less, number one, liability. And that's something that we definitely look for, don't want to. have to, somebody trips and falls, and you're on a single family is a different compared to, falling, in a multifamily and you put, a small portion of your money and you have people above you that are the ones that take care of that. And you just sit back and, wait for the updates and, get to, not stress out about those things. So, also, for example, if with single family, and you're the one doing the managing, collecting payments, and someone leaves in the middle of the night, somebody damages the property, somebody leaves all kinds of junk. Um, Guess who's got to take care of that? They don't pay their bills. Guess who's got to still pay the mortgage? You do. And if you've got two properties, three properties, five properties, and two people stop paying, you've got to pay that. You're responsible for it. Or in a situation like, even self storage or multifamily where you've got, hundreds of units. And instead of spending 200, 300, 400,000 of your money into a single family property, a lot of deals you can get a minimum of $50,000, put it in these big assets and take advantage of not giving up all your money, and you've got a piece. And then if something happens or someone doesn't pay, it's not coming from you. They've already got plenty of money coming in from the income and the rents that are going to cover those. And you don't have to worry about it. So you're taking that liability off, you're taking that stress off, you're not maintaining and managing that. So you've got the people that are the experts that do this every day and they're taking care of it. And it takes a lot off of your plate, which is what I'm looking for sure.
Yeah, ton of wisdom in those comments there, Amber, from somebody too who you've done both. You've had the
Yeah.
headaches of kind of managing smaller properties that you bought yourself, and you've also invested passively a lot now as well. But one area that I want to highlight that you said that was really wise that I think that people just don't pay quite enough attention to is the legal liability aspect as well. When you're an
Mm-hmm.
investor and you invest passively in a deal, your liability is basically limited to the amount of your investment, right? If you
Yeah.
invest $50,000 in a deal, God forbid it goes sideways. If you lose your principal, you're going to lose $50,000. Like that's the most that you can lose.
Mm-hmm.
But if you own a single family house, a duplex, or something like that, God forbid
Mm-hmm.
that something bad happens there, somebody dies, somebody has an accident, your legal liability for being the property owner could potentially be much higher. And
Yes.
you can get insurance against that sort of thing and whatnot, but still,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's a great point there from a legal liability perspective. As a passive investor, you're limited to just the amount of money that you put in as a limited partner. None of that potential liability will follow you as a limited partner. So, an excellent, excellent comment there.
Right.
And so you talk to a lot of real estate and agents about investing in real estate, and you're having these conversations day in and day out. What are the typical roadblocks that you see that usually keep real estate agents from investing in real estate, and how can they overcome these roadblocks?
Yeah. So I think because our earnings are never guaranteed, I think it can make them leery of the unknown. Education is key to overcome those roadblocks. Learning that even what people think is a bad market for investing, investors see it as a good market for investing. And so, how I always look at it and why I like to stay with real estate is I tell people it's tangible. You can touch it. You can drive by it and make sure it hasn't blown away and it's not going anywhere. So, things go up and down in the market, but these investments can lengthen the hold time to accommodate for that. So, say we have a typical 3 to 5 years or 4 to 7 years, that's why we give that range. Because if, a market changes and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, the value's gone down, you know, the people in that operator role can determine, hey, obviously we want to do what's best for our investors. So we may have to hold it for another year or so or whatever to be able to make sure that those investors are taken care of. That's not usually the case in other investments, obviously in the stock market. I've had money in the stock market go poof and it never comes back.
100%.
So, for example, I last year at the beginning of the year, I had money in a SEP IRA because I have my own business. So I had a traditional IRA, I had a SEP IRA. And from January to May in 2022, I lost $56,000.
Oh man.
And I was like, that is it. I'm done. I took it, I went to my accountant. I was like, guess what? Let's get a transfer going. So, I reached out to somebody that does the self-directed IRAs and the solo 401ks, and I moved all my money into that because I wanted to be able to write a check for whatever real estate or investment. Doesn't have to be even real estate, but that's typically what I target. I wanted to be able to write that on whatever investment I wanted to. And so I have done that where I've, done an investment based on that. And there's no penalty for moving that from your, say, 401k to a solo 401k because you're not taking a distribution. You're actually moving it into another investment. So there's so many ways. I mean, I'm sure there's other agents just like myself who maybe have put a little bit of money here and there into SEP IRAs or traditional IRA, or you were someone like me who actually came from a corporate world who had a 401k, and now you're a realtor and it's different, and you have this money that's sitting there either getting nothing or losing or getting so minimal it's not even worth it to be in there. So, that's something that I always point out to these agents and whomever else I work with. And again, it's something I didn't know until a few years ago myself. So I love to be able to say, hey, and educate the agents or whomever of this feature that's available to them, because they can be getting, as 15%, 20%, some even higher. So that's something that I really, really educate people on. And they're always surprised because they have no idea. They always assume there's going to be taxes, and distribution money taken out, not knowing. And I'm giving them that education that if you move it in that way, then you won't take that penalty.
Right. Yeah, the self-directed IRA and solo 401k is such a strong vehicle for creating opportunities for people to invest in these types of alternative assets. Because I did a podcast recently with Ben Frazier, and we can link to that in the show notes. And we talked a bit about how the wealthy invest. Looking at
Mhm.
billionaire families and family offices and institutions, they allocate a big chunk of their savings and capital into alternative investments, a lot of it in real estate, a lot of it in the type of stuff that you and I invest in, Amber.
Mhm.
So yeah, the fact that there are probably a lot of agents out there and a lot of working class Americans, and they have a lot of their retirement nest egg kind of in your typical 60-40 split between stocks and bonds. They're kind of chucking into mutual funds, and it's good to have maybe a portion of your savings in that. But yeah, you can definitely use self-directed retirement accounts and roll some of those retirement savings, like you
Mhm.
said, tax-free or tax-deferred, into a self-directed account, and you can start participating in these deals right now using your retirement account. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. It's a really powerful strategy. As we
Mhm.
start to wind it down here, Amber, I've got one last question for you, because you've kind of jumped into the industry, within the last 3 to 4 years, and you've been kind of a rocket ship. You've picked up things pretty quickly, and you're raising capital, you're doing deals in pretty short order. So I think you can probably speak pretty well to this. But if there are real estate agents out there, or even non-real estate agents, just other professionals out there, who really want to kind of quickly get the confidence they might need to passively invest in commercial real estate, what kind of advice might you have for them to kind of shorten that learning curve and get up to speed?
Well, of course, they can reach out to me and I can educate them on how our opportunities can help them to build their wealth and potentially their legacy for their families. Of course, there's a little known thing called YouTube that has so much information on passive investing and the pros and cons of each. And of course, with us being in masterminds, I attend a lot of conferences throughout the year. I'm in masterminds. those are excellent opportunities to learn on any of the things that we've spoke about today and get nuggets. And they have investor groups. But of course, I would love for you to reach out to me. I would love to help agents, lenders, actually anyone. I'm non-biased, but it makes it nice to be able to help other people. And with the success and experience that I've received from it, and really enjoy it, and can see if it's good for you.
Yeah, that's awesome, Amber. And this is a great point to end on. This has been an amazing conversation. I appreciate you sharing your time with me and our audience, and
Mhm.
sharing all your wisdom about the passive investing space. And if people do want to reach out to you and start to kind of get that one-on-one education or make that connection with you, what's the best way that they can connect with you or follow you?
Absolutely. So my website is regalcapitalpartners.com. And on my website, you can actually get a lot of information in regards to some of the asset classes and investment opportunities that we have. We even have investors club that you can sign up for so that you can be on the list and be able to get anytime we have a new opportunity, it can be sent to you. And, if it's something you're interested in, you can reach back out. It also has my link so that you can schedule a call to have a conversation when it's convenient for you. Also, my email is amber@regalcapitalpartners.com, and would love to set up a time to talk to you and see how I can help you with your investment journey.
That sounds awesome, Amber. And again,
Mhm.
excellent conversation. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Tyler. I appreciate you having me. Look forward to seeing you soon, hopefully to New Orleans.
That sounds great.
Okay. Have a good day.
You too.